Hey YouTubers, welcome back to Going to the Country, a series of videos for city folks thinking about moving out to a rural area. We did it over 20 years ago, raised our kids in a rural area, best thing we ever did. Today I want to talk to you about septic systems, and it sort of ties in with your building site. Septic, when you install your septic tank and field, they're pretty close to your house, so you have to make sure that where you're building is conducive for a septic field. And you know, there's a few considerations. The main thing is for a field, and that's I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna draw this up, and I'll do a drawing for you, and we'll draw this up. But the main thing is that a septic system is pretty simple. You got your house and then your tank, and then from the tank it goes out to a field, and where your septic field is actually a drainage field, and that's where the water coming out of the tank goes, and it settles into the ground. So let's have a look at this. I'll draw you a diagram, and let's have a look at how this works. Okay, so I thought I'd show you a diagram to sort of look at your basic septic system. This is the type of systems that people have used for years in the country. Here's your main house, and your effluent goes into a tank. Size of the tank will depend on size of the house, how many bathrooms. Your solid wastes go in there, and when the tank's working properly, they're breaking down all the time in the tank. And the only thing coming out of the tank is liquid. And that liquid goes into a distribution box, and from there it flows into your field, your septic field. And the only thing going into your field should be liquids. And the way a field looks is, in the field you'll have pipes, probably 3 pipes, and they dig a trench and they lay these pipes out, and the pipes have holes in them. And they'll lay gravel in the trench, and they'll lay the pipe in there. And depending on the system, they might cover that with paper and then cover that with dirt. But the liquid coming out of the tank goes into that field, and it drains into that rock. But for the system to be efficient, it has to also drain into the surrounding soil. So when you're looking at your field, what the installers will look for, and the building inspectors, the guys that inspect the field, they'll be looking for drainage in that area. They'll be looking for drainage in the actual area. They won't just depend on this. So a common thing for them to do is where you want to put your field, they'll dig a hole and they'll throw a bucket of water in there. It's called a perk test. And they'll see how long it takes for the water to escape. And different jurisdictions will have different formulas for, you know, the time it has to escape and these kinds of things. Some jurisdictions might not even allow this type of system anymore, which is a shame, because these systems work really well when they're properly maintained and properly installed. The main thing is that you have drainage where you want to put your field. So that's a consideration when you're looking at your building site. You want to look around at the lay of the land. If there's a lot of standing water, like a wetland, you're not going to be able to put a septic field there because it won't be able to drain. So those are some things you want to consider. Again, it's local knowledge. Jurisdictions have different bylaws. Some areas now, they don't even allow you to use that traditional type of system, which I think is a shame, because it's sort of simplicity. It's beauty and it's simplicity. They work so well. A lot of areas now you have to have pressurized fields, things like that. Something I wanted to mention, if you're buying a rural property with a house and a septic tank and a field already installed, it's a good idea to have them inspected before you finalize the deal. This part of the system, the field, they can fail. They can get clogged up if somebody, you know, is flushing the wrong kind of stuff down the thing and down the tank, or if they've never cleaned the tank out, and you know, they can start having solids going into the septic field, and it can get plugged up. And once it's plugged up, it's pretty much a complete redo. They can't fix it. If it's totally plugged up, it's hard to flush. What the inspectors will do, they'll send a camera down there, and they'll actually have a look at right down the pipe, and they'll have a look and see if it's clear or not. If there's a little bit of cloggage in there, they might be able to flush it. There is a way to flush out those pipes. They use a pressurized system, and they might be able to flush it. But if those are really full, if those pipes are full of, you know, bad stuff, chances are you have to dig the whole thing up and redo it, you know, which is going to be a pretty big expense. Another consideration if you're buying a place with a field already installed, something that I found out, the area that we live in now, we moved here about 5 years ago. I was told, I looked at an older house and I thought, well, maybe I'll do a renovation, do an addition. And I was warned that if I was going to do an addition, before I could pull the permit, the city would require an inspection of the septic field and tank. And there's a good chance that field could fail inspection. It was pretty old. And I'd be looking at installing a whole new system under more stringent regulations, a pretty big expense. So something to think about if you're buying a house that's got a field already on it, a tank and a field. So again, check with your contractors, check with the excavator, ask him who installs septic fields in that area. He might even do it himself. So there's something to think about when you're picking your building site. And the next time we're going to talk about water and the different ways to get water in the country. So thanks for watching. See you next time.